Beth Johnson, thank you for agreeing to talk to us. You're our special guest this year at our Edinburgh convention. And how about some of the other models? I mean, talk us through, for instance, the pine cone. I think what's very fascinating is it very much combines, again, two techniques, but that's really taking a tessellation. And so far, we've really, in Origami, we've just seen tessellations as flat presentations or patterns. And I think what's delightful, what you've done is you've turned it into an object or used that texture.
Yes, there's definitely examples of that, but for me, it's using tessellations in design is something I am actively trying to do. I like so a lot of my models have the patterns. I don't know if you'd necessarily call it complex, but it's not a simple approach. The shape of the model after you have the tessellation is very simple. There's just a few folds, and this was one of my favorite models, or has been, just because of its simplicity, but it looks very much like a pine cone. And I folded a lot of these, probably 100 of them or so. I give them away at Christmas all the time, and they make wonderful Christmas tree ornaments. But the same pattern is in the bear that I have. It's the exact same tessellation, and instead of radiating out from the center, it comes from the corner, and you get two completely different models with the exact same tessellations and just a little bit of shaping.
Yes.
And it's great. Also, exact same tessellation for this acorn, and the pleats just are not opened up. Also radiating out, but just not straight from the center. So three models, exact same tessellation, just a little bit different, and completely different outcome, which is kind of cool.
So would you explore the tessellation first? Would you say, here's a tessellation pattern, I'll make that tessellation pattern, and then I'll take that further and see where it goes? Or is there an overarching vision of you see it and make it?
Well, it just really depends. A lot of times it will be the sheep, for example. The coat came after seeing the pattern, but I'd say most often the tessellation inspires the model for me. And I've used a lot of the same types of tessellations. I think they have to be, except for the sheep, they somewhat have to be a little flat, I guess, if you're folding it up. But let me think of another example of, this is not necessarily a tessellation, but a corrugation. And I just like the geometric aspect, the lines that you get that are just something that I'm always looking for, to add some interest, I guess, into the model. And this is the same type of, this is a, not the same pattern, but corrugation more than a tessellation. And this is where you kind of get into the fine line of what the difference is, but the same thing, more of a corrugation. So it's just, these two are the exact same. I might have mentioned that already, but clearly, and I have some other, so I guess what my point is, a lot of the same tessellations, very different models that I can come up with seeing how those pleats might work.
But certainly in the hedgehog, those patterns opened up. Mm-hmm. So the texture, the tension of the model is opening up that pattern.
Yeah.
Whereas the classic tessellation sometimes can be flattened or put against a window. So I think it's very interesting how the model actually opens those shapes and brings it to life.
And it makes them, I love three-dimensional models. In fact, this bird, this is very unusual for me because it's very flat. I love models that have a lot of volume. And the tessellations definitely lend themselves to that.
Another thing that you seem to do is you're very good at choosing colours. Can you explain what sort of paper you use and how you come up with the colours that you've used in the models that you've created?
I use a variety of different types of papers, but I tend to gravitate towards elephant hide, which I paint always, and Canson Mitant, which comes in a beautiful variety of colors. and use a lot of the Arches watercolor paper, which is a very heavy. So this is Arches, very stiff, wet folding, painted. And then the elephant hide that's painted. And you can just get beautiful colors. This is painted elephant hide. And the just texture that you get in that is...
Is it a particular paint? What kind of paint would that be?
I actually use a scrapbooking paint, which is it comes in a spray bottle, and you can mix your own. I've tried to do that with some products from our craft store, but it's very simple, and it's just a really nice effect. It gives it some depth instead of painting on a flat acrylic. So paper is very hard, and I'm very picky about the color, and
it stands out. It stands out because you've gone the extra bit of effort and you've put that in, and I think it's very distinct to almost anything we can see around or anything I've seen before. So,
thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
In that innovative maneuver.